Hello and welcome to QuickFit's Winter Prep. Okay, so the first question, how does winter affect your driving on the roads? Well, the first thing, obviously, is going to be the conditions.
Best thing you can do is change your tyres.
So question 2, specific things you check on your road car in winter. So things like screen wash is a really important thing to make sure you've got plenty of. With salt and the grit and grime that ends up picking up on the road with the winter conditions, really important to make sure you've got some of that.
I just make sure to always check, tyre pressures, screen wash and oil. I do that all year round, but winter I do it more often.
So the next question, how do your BTCC mechanics prepare you for winter conditions? So from a summer to a winter round, the car does change quite a lot, especially with track conditions, especially with track temperature and tyre temperature as well. It changes quite a lot.
Yeah, we're just constantly chasing the weather and hoping it's going to stay dry.
They check that, probably before I do, that the brake bias is correct on the car, because we actually run more rear brake bias when it's winter.
Next question, how does your driving style change later in the season? Being really mindful, once we start to get into the darker races and the colder races, the wetter races, the curbs hold the water, the grass is holding onto the water as well. So there's always a little bit of a dynamic, especially in a race trim, just maybe taking 2 or 3% off the top, just because we don't want to be skating through the grass at speed.
In the final few rounds of the year and also going into the winter in my road car, you just have to drive to the conditions. So, if it's dry, you can have a bit more confidence going into, obviously, on the country roads. But if it's raining or if it's icy, you just got to bring the speed right down and gauge the weather.
I am now definitely coming off the brake pedal earlier. I'm not braking as hard into the apex because you can't. And I've just learned to accept that. And I've learned actually you now need to have a stiffer front end to get the car to turn in and jump off the brake pedal.
Final question, do you have any tips for increasing driver safety in winter? I suppose the most important thing is really be on the ball, really looking forwards as far down the road as you can, because with wet, slimy, horrible, greasy, cold conditions, your stopping distances are of course a lot longer.
In the winter on the road is keep a bigger gap to the car in front.
My top tip would be, if the weather looks too dangerous, then don't drive.